My name is Nicholas Dalby. I'm 34 years old and I'm a professional MMA fighter. On March 9th, 2019, I'll be fighting in Copenhagen for the Cage Warriors welterweight title. A title I've actually previously fought for and won almost exactly 5 years ago to the date, in what ended up not only being my last fight on home soil, but also the last time Cage Warriors went to Copenhagen. After I won the title in 2014, a lot has happened. Winning the Cage Warriors title became a springboard to the biggest sporting achievements of my life in the biggest organization in MMA. Getting signed to the UFC as an undefeated prospect had all the telltale signs of a long and promising career in the top echelons of mixed martial arts. But the joy was short-lived, and after securing a win in my UFC debut, everything started falling apart. Even though the next fight, a draw with Darren ended up being awarded as fight of the night, things went downhill, fast. 5 minutes before walking into that fight and the 2 subsequent losses, I felt like hiding away crying in a corner. Not a good feeling to have moments before competing against the best fighters in the world in front of over 10,000 people. But it was actually way back around the time I first won the Cage Warriors title that the reason for this crash in my career originated. Every morning I woke up having this stressful and nagging feeling of being behind. That something I was supposed to do or take care of hadn't been handled. I thought this was just a temporary thing that will pass, so I kept on with my life and drowned that feeling by immersing myself in training camps or fights. But in the vacuum between fights, this feeling resulted in me turning a healthy social life into all-out partying and binge drinking. This downward spiral in my mental health was the cause that I went from being undefeated for 10 years to losing fights I could have won and getting released from the UFC. In this period, I also lost contact to a near and dear family member, and my best friend and the biggest driving force of my 10-year fighting career quit from one day to the other and more or less disappeared from my life. This sent me to the bottom of a dark abyss of depression, where I spent more days drinking and eating pizza than being sober. For over a year I lived like this, until I woke up one day and realized I had to act now if I wanted to achieve the goals I still had for my fighting career. I made an appointment at a psychotherapist, and 14 days later I accepted a fight. I went for broke, and for the next excruciating 4.5 months I turned myself from a fat alcoholic couch potato into a lean mean fighting machine by losing 25 kilos of fat and reigniting the fire beneath the warrior that was still inside me. I gave it 110% in that fight, but it ended up being a very close split decision loss. It felt like all the work was for nothing, and I contemplated announcing my retirement right then and there. But then I thought, fuck it, I didn't come all this way to give up now. So I got on the mic in the cage and promised to return better and better than ever. And I did exactly that.